All right, guys, it is Friday. It's time for On the Clock. A perfect 3-0 sweep on the show yesterday, and I can't even come in here and get excited about it because the client plays go 0-2. So Maine and Northern Arizona fall short, and I got to be on you. I actually lost sleep last night. I stayed there and laid awake for an hour, kicking myself for not adding Wichita State, or really picking the wrong one, adding Northern Arizona and not adding Wichita, because I was really close with both. And of course, Wichita comes out and wins the game outright. Elon gets there, and the total of the day gets there. 3-0 on the show here. 0-2 for clients. I guess it's the reverse of Wednesday. 3-1 for clients on Wednesday. 0-2 on the show. The point of this is to just get insight out and hope that you can use it for something and be profitable with it. I have a play that I love tonight. So the Friday night slates have been really good for me, mostly because it's like Mac, Ivy, some of these smaller leagues that I follow play Friday night. So back-to-back weeks where I've hit a 5%er on Friday. Manhattan last week, Penn the week before. 4-1 of my last 5%, last 5% plays. And I do have a 5% play tonight at WagerTalk in one of those small conferences. So that's up if you feel so inclined on the website, wg.buzz/AT. And if not, that's okay. I've got you covered. We're going to talk 3 different plays tonight. Maybe one will get promoted to a play. Maybe it won't. But again, I think this is some good intel to share. And we're going to head to the capital region, the state capital of New York, where I went to college, at Siena College, downtown Albany tonight, Niagara, Siena. And we're going to use this for total of the day, but I'm going to bring back parlay of the day as well today. And we're going to talk about side and total here. So the main thing I want to discuss is the fact that Siena should get some needed reinforcements tonight. It looks like Peter Carey is going to be back here. So he is Siena's big. He transferred from Syracuse. Jerry McNamara brought him with him to Albany here, and he's been out for a while. And the reason that's notable is he's really Siena's best rim defender, kind of like the anchor of that defense, the main rim protector. He's the main big on the Siena roster, and so to get him back would be huge. He's a great rebounder, really the anchor of that defense when he's on the floor. And so to get him back would be a big deal, in my opinion. You're also looking at getting 2 of the youngsters back. And really, if you've watched the Siena team play this season, I totally forgot to start the clock here. But we're gonna do that on the fly and get the clock started. And there we go. So if you've watched the Siena team play this year, like the guys that are playing the best are the young kids. The Gavin Doty's, Coyle has played good, but Doty, Ducharme, Wilmoth have really kind of, injected some life into this team, especially, since Marcus Jackson went down and other guys have needed to step up. And it looks like you could also get Ducharme and Wilmoth back tonight. And I've got those 2 are rated, like, in my opinion, like Gavin Doty's probably the best player on this team. I think he's emerged as the best player on this team. And then you've got your backcourt of Schultz and Freeman, who are kind of the more sure-handed of the guys on the floor. But Ducharme and Wilmoth are both very good players, and they're both pretty solid defenders. And so the way I look at this is if all 3 of them, or even if a couple of those guys come back, Carey, Wilmoth, Ducharme, that's a big-time boost to Siena on the defensive end of the floor. And, Niagara's not exactly an offensive juggernaut. Like they rank down sort of near the, outside the top 300. They're kind of right on the fringe of like 300th nationally in offense. They're not going to score much here. And the other thing that's worth pointing out is, like, the first meeting when these 2 teams played, Siena did make a point to slow it down. It's just the second half, all hell broke loose in the second half of that game. I think there was like 81 points, ended up being a 69-68 final. So it went over. But again, I think Siena's MO, when they're at full strength, they want to slow it down. They want to run half court stuff with Schultz and and Major Freeman controlling holding, having the ball in their hands. And then they want to dig in and play defense. And I think that's kind of how this game is going to go. So I don't see where a ton of offense comes from in this game, especially from a Niagara team that really doesn't have like much of an identity offensively. Greg Paulus is a tremendous coach. He's always going to have his team prepared, but this is one of his probably less talented Niagara teams in the past like half decade. I'll be really surprised. You got revenge here too for Siena. They're going to want this one tonight, and I think it means they're going to really dig in on the defensive end of the floor. So for total of the day, we'll go under. This has moved, but even at like 136.5, 137, the only total I see worth anything tonight would be the under in this game. So we'll use it for total of the day. All right, I'm going to bring parlay of the day back because I need to get Siena in here somewhere. I really do believe that they're going to win this game. I really do believe that getting a couple of guys back definitely is worth something to the number. The problem is I think the books kind of anticipated this. This was something that was announced by our local paper here, or Albany's local paper, the Times-Union, earlier this week. So I think books kind of have this priced in for the most part. I don't see a ton of line value at 6.5. But I still really expect Siena to win this game. Like I said, they have revenge from the first meeting. They lost on a last-second shot. They lost by 1 to Niagara. So I think, and they're home where they're going to get a great crowd, great turnout. Niagara has struggled making this trip in the past. So I really expect Siena to win here. And I really wanted to find a way to use it. Honestly, like the only reason I don't come out and fire a parlay of the day for clients here is because I couldn't find anything to really pair it with that would be a reasonably priced 2-team parlay that I really liked. So what I came up with for parlay of the day was Siena, Cleveland State, Toledo, all on the money line. It comes out to about plus 120. Cleveland State burned me twice last week, but you know what? They played basically what happened to Cleveland State. They played two of the better teams in the league, and Robert Morris and Youngstown State, and went ice cold shooting the basketball. And the reason I'm okay with putting them in the parlay is even if they went ice cold shooting against Detroit, they're still going to probably win. And that's kind of the reason I don't want to lay 8.5 is because I'm worried about the shooting woes carrying over. But Cleveland State's good enough defensively, and Detroit just doesn't do enough on offense where, like, I think Cleveland State won the first meeting by 15. Even if they have an off shooting night, they're probably going to win this meeting and probably win it comfortably. So Cleveland State, and then Toledo, it looks like Ball State's banged up. And if you've kind of watched Toledo lately, it feels like they're due for a good game. And I know like the due theory, it's whatever. Like I'm not saying it like that. I mean, they had a bad loss a couple of games ago. They bounced back and won a game over the weekend. I believe Ball State, where they won by 1. Toledo historically is very good at home, and you've got Ball State kind of banged up. I don't know if I want to lay 7.5, even though I do think they probably cover, but I'll throw it in the parlay. So parlay of the day, not going to be a client play, but parlay of the day, Siena, Toledo, Cleveland State, plus 120 on that parlay. I think that's a something worth looking at if you're looking to parlay something tonight. And let's talk about one more. We'll go to the national TV game. The standalone national TV game in the Horizon League tonight, the only 9 p.m. tip tonight across all of college basketball, ESPNU, Milwaukee and Youngstown State. And boy, am I tempted to take Milwaukee here. This is one I'll have my eye on throughout the day, especially if Youngstown State takes money and this goes to like 2 or 2.5. Milwaukee's the better of these two teams. I mean, listen, Youngstown State probably deserves a little bit for home court. I've been to a game at the Beagley Center. When they're good, it's a great home court, but I do think they've lost a little of their home court edge. Jared Calhoun really built that program up, and he's now since moved on to take the Utah State job. I think some of the juice surrounding that program left with him a little bit, but Youngstown State's playing well. I mean, there's still going to be a decent crowd there tonight. I just haven't been giving them as big of a bump for home court this year as I have in years past. I think so. I played against Youngstown over the weekend with Cleveland State. I took a loss, in a game that Cleveland State, like, they just shot the ball so horribly. And even with their poor shooting, had multiple looks from three to take the lead very late, and then they missed those. So I think Youngstown State got off the hook a little bit easy there. Don't think they played good enough to really, like, truly deserve to win that game over the weekend. I just think that they were not as bad as Cleveland State, who could not buy a shot in that game. So my gut's telling me to come back and fade them here. Like, you look at this, you look at this Milwaukee team. Defensively, these two teams rate out similar, but Milwaukee's far more efficient on offense. And again, I just come back to, you look at Milwaukee the last couple games, they seem to be clicking right now. I just think they're a better team than Youngstown at this point. And I do think you're paying a little bit of a premium because Youngstown's at home, national TV spot, and Youngstown's been one of the better teams in this league the past couple of years. It's really been my issue with Youngstown the whole season. I think they're still getting sort of rated on what they were the last couple of years, and I just don't think they're that this year. So Milwaukee plus 1.5 is a lean. I'm not sure if I'll actually get to the window with that, but it's definitely the way I'm looking in that national TV game, 9 p.m. And if I do for some reason add that one, I will post it to Twitter. As of right now, just one play for me on Friday. I found a spot I love in one of the smaller leagues that I've done well in this year, and I made it a 5% play because we've been killing these small leagues on Friday nights so far. So why not, if it's not broke, don't fix it. 4 in one of my last 5%ers, and I hope that it's the start to the weekend we need. So that's up at WagerTalk, wt.buzz/AT. You can follow me on Twitter at AdamTriggerWT. And I don't know if we'll have On the Clock tomorrow, but I'll certainly try to at least make a quick video and post one of my plays from what probably will be a pretty big Saturday card. So we'll see you guys in some capacity in the morning. Good luck tonight. Cash all your tickets, and have a great weekend.